Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So let's talk about bad chords, right? What's a bad chord, right? You're playing a nice chord progression and you know all the chords, and then you get to this chord that messes everything up, and you try to practice the chord change but it doesn't work, and then it's frustrating, right? So in this video I want to show you how we can actually fix bad chords and how we can improve the way we play these chords. And sometimes it really comes down to two things, which I'm going to show you right now. Also, I want you to realize one thing, guys. Like, if you're struggling with chords right now, first of all, I want you to stop comparing yourself with all the other guitar players that you know, especially the good ones out there, right? Because they can play a chord in many different ways, and these chords always sound beautiful. So they play a C major chord and their thumb is sitting all over the neck and the chord is great, and then you try to do the same thing and you just can't get the chord right. And there is a reason for that, right? So you have to understand, first of all, the left hand technique and how to improve that, and then how to simplify the chords so that you can get to a better level step by step, right? Second thing that I want you to understand is that there is a big difference between practicing and playing. So you practice the chords with all these rules, that's a good thing. It's going to take you to a better level. But then you also want to have a moment where you play the chords and then you forget about all the rules, right? So that you can have fun playing the chords. Now, one of the reasons why you are probably struggling with chords right now is because you don't know the 3 left-hand rules. These are extremely important rules, and these 3 rules allows you to understand how to position your left hand so that you can practice the chords, right? And you can get the chords right. And then once you become better, you can forget about these 3 rules and just play the chords as you want. Now, the first one is that you want to keep the thumb down. You want to keep it behind the neck. That's the first most important rule. When you play a C major chord from now on and you're practicing the chords, keep in mind that you want to lower the thumb. This is going to allow you to stretch more, and you have way more control on the fingers. The second thing, keep the space between the bottom neck and the palm. And the third thing, make sure that you press down, press the frets down with the fingertips. So of course, if your thumb is all the way up and you're touching the bottom neck and then you putting your fingers like this, it's going to be really challenging. Now you lower the thumb and you are already halfway through, because you see it kind of pushes your fingers away from the bottom neck, and then you naturally stretch. So a chord such as the C major, which is usually so stretchy when you have the thumb on top of the neck like this, it becomes slightly easier when you lower the thumb, okay? So these 3 rules are extremely important. So spend a little bit of time now practicing the chords that you already know, following these 3 rules. So go back to the usual A minor that you play and bring the thumb down and see if it changes the way you feel the chord and the way the chord sounds. If you're playing, for example, an A major chord and you're struggling with the D string, or always having this buzzing noise, or if you're struggling with the E string open that is always muted, just try to lower the thumb and you see how the position changes, and see if you are able to squeeze in these 3 fingers better, right? So 3 simple rules. Just play the chords that you already know, applying these 3 simple rules, and then you move on to the next step, which I'm going to show you right now. By the way, guys, I forgot to tell you one thing. These 3 rules work for any type of chords that you want to play, right? So, for example, chords that are even more difficult, right? Major and minor 7th chords. You You see, when I play this type of chords, my thumb is all the way down, and you have so much more control over the bar chord technique when your thumb is all the way down. I posted a video a while back that you guys loved, which I think is called Simple Finger Picking Pattern with Beautiful Sounding Chords, which is this one. Now, this chord shape is literally all about these 3 rules that we just learned, right? If you try to play this B minor chord with the thumb sitting on top of the neck, it will almost be impossible, right? And so you realize that sometimes these 3 rules, have to be in place in order for you to play certain chords. Like, you can't play certain chords if you don't have these 3 rules in place. Guys, let's take just one moment to talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare, the online learning community with thousands of awesome classes. Now, one thing that I love about Skillshare is the fact that there are so many different classes in just one place. I call it the Netflix of learning. You go on their website and you can learn almost about anything that you want. Now, if you are a YouTuber like me, you're constantly learning all the time. And so it's great to have a platform that offers so many different courses, ranging from music lessons, video editing, self-improvement, business, art. I mean, you can literally learn a lot of different things on Skillshare. And even if you're not a YouTuber and you're just like me, you like to learn things, and when you have a little bit of time off, you just want to learn something new, you can definitely check out Skillshare. I'm sure you will find all the classes that you need. Now, the cool thing is that you can access Skillshare for free. The first 1,000 people who click the link down below can access Skillshare Premium for free for a limited period of time. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now, once you grasp these 3 rules, you can then move on to the next step, right? And learn how to simplify chords. It's a very simple and silly thing when you think about it. Just think about the C major chord, right? Some of these chords can be stretchy, and so the C major is one of them, right? One thing that you can do to practice this chord and to make it better and to make it easier to practice is to get rid of some of the notes. So I will practice the C major like this. Just start with two fingers, and then you practice the stretch by putting the finger on and off. And notice how the thumb is all the way down, and my hand doesn't really move as I am practicing the exercise. So it's all about developing the movement for this finger. You can do the same thing with the G major chord, which is another stretchy chord. So the very first step here, just simplify the chords. There is also another step that can help you, fixing bad chords, is to change the way you play them, change the fingering. For example, the A major chord. Sometimes we struggle with the A major quite a lot because we've got to squeeze in 3 fingers within 1 fret. So you can easily just, change the way you play the chord. Just use the pinky, so that you can, squeeze in these 3 fingers better within 1 fret. And again, you can then make the chord easier to play. So you could start with just 2 fingers, and then you can add the 3rd one. Same thing for other chords, the D major chord. Always start with just 2 fingers, and then you add the one finger that gives you trouble. For example, when you play the D major, the most challenging thing is to get the first string right, because we usually sit with this finger on top of the string. So just get rid of the middle finger and play the E string open, and then you add the second finger on the fret 2. Now the cool thing about simplifying chords is the fact that we can apply the same system to any chord that we want to play. Let's say that we're playing a C major 7 chord. We can get rid of almost all the notes and just start with 2 of them. For example, the fret 3 and 5, right? Of course, you always want to use the same fingers, right? So if the chord is this one, I'm getting rid of the finger 2 and 3. I end up with just the finger 1 and 4. And then you can add the finger 3, which is usually the stretchy one. And then you can add the finger 2. So with these 3 simple rules and 1 simple hack, we were able to understand the left hand technique, and we also learn how to simplify the chords, right? So if you've been struggling with some of these chords, and if you have a few bad chords in your repertoire, make sure that you try these 3 rules and see if you can fix these bad chords. And also guys, really important, make sure that you always separate practicing versus playing. When you practice the chords, always follow the rules and make sure that you allow no exceptions, right? You want to follow all the rules and follow all the hacks. And then once you're done practicing, make sure that you play the chords. Don't worry about anything. Even if your left hand is all over the place again, don't worry about it. Make sure that you have fun and enjoy playing the guitar. Now I'm gonna leave you to practice this, guys. Take it step by step. Enjoy this video. I'll talk to you soon.